Welcome to Turkey Run State Park. This is episode 6 of our Let's Go Outdoors series. We're going to be here for the next couple of days and see what we can find for you guys. This park is about 2,382 acres. It was built in 1916, and it has historical buildings. It has has Sugar Creek, which runs through it. There's a lot of paths, a lot of sandstone stuff runs through here. The funny thing about the name is there's rumor all over about how the name first started. But apparently the one that sticks out the most in people's mind is turkeys way back when used to run through here in the winter. And they would run through the gorges and these runs, as they called them, and they were turkeys. And what they did is they'd hide and try and stay warm with the cold weather. Unfortunately, that made it easier for the settlers to pen them up, trap them, and harvest them. The park is going to have a couple of ancient buildings, which I think I mentioned earlier. We have a Lieber cabin, which Colonel Lieber, which used to be in charge of DNR, helped build this park, so his cabin is here. We have the Lusk home, which actually has a grist mill attached to it. We're going to try and see if we can go there for you guys. There is actually a log cabin church, and believe it or not, they still worship at this church every Sunday. And then they had a covered bridge that was built in 1860. Overall, I think it's going to be real interesting. Now, this particular adventure is going to be pretty much trail-based, because the thing about Turkey Run Park is there's a lot of sandstone fittings. There's a suspended bridge we're going to go on. There's like a ladder trail. And then you have the strange other amenities. The other nice thing about this place, unlike any other park we've been to, this one actually has an inn, an actual inn where people can rent rooms. It also has an area where you could rent horses, and they do hay rides here. So there's a lot of things that we can do in this park. And we're going to try and bring you as much footage as we can of whatever attraction we happen to be at the time. But for the moment, we need to get our camp set, get ready for our day, and plan how we're going to make this work for you guys and entertain you guys. Until then, we'll guys see you in the next section. Bye now. Welcome everybody. This is the Lieber cabin. Believe it or not, this is actually made of tulip wood, which used to be actually very, very plentiful in this area. Then this place was built in 1848, and Richard Lieber convinced the guy who built it to move it here to this park in 1918. And for the time he was around in this park, he used this as an office, guys. So it's kind of cool. Did you imagine that? It also has a stone foundation, and it was built in much the same way as the cabins were made way back in the day. So we'll see what we can find else for you guys, but this is a good start to our day. Take care, everyone. Hey everyone, here's another one of those historic buildings I spoke about earlier. This is the historic log church. Now this church was built in 1871, and Joseph Lieber, like the tulip cabin, had it moved to this park, and then they rededicated this church in 1923. And to this day, every Sunday at 10 in the morning, As long as it's warm weather out, they have services here still. It's just amazing what you find out at these little parks.
So it's only a seasonal church, and they don't have it open during winter,
Yeah, it's
Mike?
pretty much a seasonal church, and it's amazing how the Lieber cabin was moved here, and this was moved here. Maybe there's something about Turkey Run Park that everybody loves, huh?
So these weren't originally here?
These were not originally here.
Oh, do you know where they were originally at?
The research does not say, believe it or not. But I bet you I'll find out. If you guys want to know where these actually came from, both places, let us know in the comments. See you guys in the next section.
And now, time for more running music interlude. La 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 la. Running water. Oh, plenty of running water. Well, hey everyone, good morning. So we got a lot to do today, so I'll make this brief to get us started. We're going to take Trail 1, which is going to take us over to 8, and then we're going to take that back to 2. And why we're doing this is because this is going to take us over the suspension bridge, which we're about to do. Then we're going to head up to the Lusk home, which is going to be another nice thing, and we're going to end up at a coal mine. So stick with us, we'll see what's going on. Hey Mike, come here. Hey everyone. So welcome to the suspension ridge. First off, we're about to enter the Sandstone Canyon area, which is supposed to have some of the best hiking around. Secondly, this is how the original Indiana forests looked at one time. And this bridge was made by some of the 64,000 people that were part of the Conservation Corps that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had hired to put people back to work.
Hey, isn't that the thing we talked about in the very last episode?
Yeah, he went through all this trouble to get Americans back on their feet working, and this is some of the work they done. And these were young men and young women doing this stuff. Can you imagine that? Just how beautiful it is, guys.
To think all this work was done by young men, didn't have a job, thanks to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and that's why our parks are looking as good as they are these days, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Hold on, guys. We'll get you some more footage. Snickerdoodles, Mike, look at this place. Do you believe this?
This is unbelievable. The beauty here is not even. I can't even describe to you viewers out there how beautiful this is. I mean, you're seeing some of our pans and some of the information. It just doesn't do justice. Because do you know this is how it was 12,000 years ago?
12,000 years ago, people. 12,000 years.
The only difference is we got the man-made bridges and stuff
Look at
built
that.
in because it's a path. But this is exactly like it was 12,000 years ago. As the creek was cutting through all these sandstone rocks, the temperature never changed. Everything around this area changed, but this didn't change. And if you look off behind, up in front of me, behind these bushes over here, you see the suspension bridge.
See if we get a better shot for you guys back over here, because we're kind of...
There you go. We had just came off.
Look at that bridge, guys. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit, see what we can do. But look at that thing. That was man-made by the 64,000 laborers that the president hired. And then now check this out. Look at these. Look at the upper view here. Look at this rock. This is sandstone, guys. We are underneath the sandstone rock here.
It's like a cliff, and this area is called Crevice Rock. Everyone.
Crevice Rock. Look at that, guys. Look at that. My goodness, I feel so small all of a sudden. It's definitely turning out to be our best viewing hiking trip yet, I think.
Been so proud of this one so far.
Yeah.
Hope you guys love it as much as we do. See you guys in the next section.
Wow, guys, I'm just impressed with what we're seeing right now. And where we're at right now, it's an interesting place, because did you know that the ice melt from the glaciers in this area it stopped less than 20,000 years ago? That's not too long ago. That's within human history. And when rocks started surfacing and water levels started going down, there were these hardy plants that were called bryophytes, and they learned how to adapt and grow on rocks through the shallows and stuff and since sandstone is so soft, it was able to attach its roots to these rocks and grow and flourish. And over time, even after the glacier melt was over, these bryophytes, these hardy plants, just kept on growing and growing until recently. And guess what happened? We happened. It's a sad story. It seems like everything that happens because of us. In the last so many years, these bryophytes have started dying. And you know why? Because us not paying attention to the trails. Like the marked trails that tell us where to go and where not to go. And so what's happening, people are illegally climbing up on the rocks. And I mean, if you're a rock climber, it's probably a horrible, you just want to do it, but you're not supposed to, because they're getting up on top of these rocks, and where these bryophytes, which are up usually really high, they're dying because us as humans are stepping on them and destroying them. So think about that next time if you come to a park like this, or even if you come to Turkey Run out here in Indiana. Try and stay on the marked trails, because, man, these plants were here longer than us, and they learned how to adapt. So let's give them the ability to come back and maybe make this park as wild as it once was. Imagine how that would be. Because, heck, we know a lot of this area is 12,000 years old, guys. Keep that in mind, man. You come out here, be respectful of the bryophytes.
Here's another cool thing we noticed, everybody. Apparently, less than 12,000 years ago, with between the ice, rains, and the floodwaters that came through this area, if you look up at the corner of this little cliff, and then if you look all the way to the end, there's an interesting story that happened to this one. Look up at the very end of it. Now, due to the freezing and thawing that occurred in this area over these centuries, it basically acted like a wedge and cut this whole piece of sandstone right off of the main cliff. It's amazing how dangerous nature can be. This is awesome, guys.
I don't know, Mike. I think a giant came through and chiseled it down, man. That's what I think.
He had a big old hammer and a big old
I think
chisel.
so. They say giants exist, man, and I think they do.
When you see this, you want to think so, right?
If not, I mean, you got to think that is just how powerful Mother Nature can actually be.
No question. Mother Nature, she's a force to be reckoned with. See you guys in the next
Yeah,
section.
woo, hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. This is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hello, friends, and for your listening pleasure today, and a brief interlude until we get to the next section, please enjoy the flowing sounds of the river.
It's creek, man. It's creek.
Flowing water. Hey everyone, how are you doing? We're at Turkey Run, and guess what we're having for lunch? You guessed it, we're having turkey burgers and loaded mashed potatoes. Smells good. Bet you it's gonna taste good too. I hope you're trying these recipes at home. This one's real easy. The pads need to be cooked 4 to 5 minutes each side. That's it. And guess what? We wanted to get cranberry sauce for you guys, but darn it, no one has it yet. What a shame. Oh well, guys, we'll see you in a little while. Smells yummy. So there it is, guys. We're having turkey burgers and loaded mashed potatoes. All took less than 10 minutes to cook. The burgers were Meyer turkey brand. White succulent is what they were called. And we cooked each one of those 4 to 5 minutes each side. And the potatoes, that was just a matter of boiling the water and stirring potatoes in to make the nice fluffy potatoes that we have. Wish you guys were here to enjoy it with us. But otherwise, I hope you guys are trying some of these recipes at home. Have a great one. See you in the next section.
Hey everybody, we've been on Trail 8 now, and we happened to come across one of the items I wanted to find. This is an old coal mine. An old coal mine that used to operate for the Lusk Homestead, which we're actually heading toward. This thing was worked on in the late 1800s, and this little coal mine was in operation till 1920. There's only 3 feet high in there, and the miners used to have to stoop in there to get the coal out. And then they'd have to take donkeys, and the hill behind us, they'd have to haul it all the way up to get to the Lusk Homestead. It's unbelievable. And they mined it out. And then in 2000, they put the steel bars here.
So why'd they put the steel bars there?
Well, there's a couple reasons. The main reason was they didn't want people like you and I to go in there because that's very dangerous and very collapsible because it's sandstone. Because what the miners would do is they would climb in there and they would shore up all the sandstone so that they could work in there.
So every time they went in there, they couldn't just start digging. They had to literally put supports up.
Yeah, they had to make sure that the thing wasn't going to cave in on them.
But so then why did they, so besides that, why does it look like it has openings in it? And why not just put a fence up?
Well, they closed it in 2000, as I said, to keep us from going in, but they wanted to allow a way for bats to come in and out because bats are very popular in this area, and this happens to be an area where a lot of bats are.
Oh, like vampire bats?
No,
I want to drink your blood.
Not necessarily.
Oh, no? Oh, okay.
But the nice thing about the bats is they eat thousands and thousands of insects every day.
Maybe mosquitoes too, huh? I hope so.
Yes, I hope so.
I hate mosquitoes.
But yep, and this is what it looks like today, guys. That is the Lusk Coal Mine. See you guys in the next section.
Hello, Mike.
Hey. Well, this is the other place we were trying to find, guys. It took a little bit of doing. We had to go through a couple trails to get through this area, but it turns out Trail 2 was the makings of a county road that never happened. Now, this is an interesting story. Captain Lusk, who was actually rewarded the land that this is running through, made an arrangement with the government to see if they would do a county road through here. But they would only do it if he put a culvert and built a bridge over a water area over there. Unfortunately, what happened is when he built the culvert and the covered path over it to make the road, they changed their mind. And then if you look over here,
this is where the county road ended up being.
How rude!
Right next to where he wanted it. And to the same point, this bridge right here leads right to his property. So the county road would have come in through here, would have gone over that bridge, and then right to his property. Now this is that one other landmark I was telling you about. 1882, this one was made. And this is one of those bridges that was built to last a long time, and it sure shows. Look at that. Well, we're going to get to the Lusk house, guys, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Have a good one. See you later.
Hey everybody, well we finally found it, the Lusk home, after searching all over for it. It turns out it was at the end of Trail 4, and there's no real road to it, or nothing. And the noise you hear in the background is the state road that I referenced earlier that they made in place of the one he wanted them to make. So it's a little loud, so I'll try and make it as clear as possible. Now, I don't know if anybody knows about Captain Lusk, but if you remember our previous show, Prophetstown, John Lusk was one of the captains. Captain Lusk was one of the captains at the Battle of Tippecanoe. And back in those days, when the states were poor, cash poor, they would reward honored soldiers and heroic soldiers with grants of land. This happened to be the grant of land that they gave Captain Lusk for his service in the Tippecanoe War. Now, the nice thing about this is he got this area in 1825 is when he first acquired this land. And then what he did is he created a mill. We're going to try and get to it if we can. We had enough hard time finding this. Give us luck and hopefully we'll find the grist mill so we can show you that. And then the grist mill was completed in 1829. And then this house was completed in 1841. And he had a wife, Mary, and they had 8 children. So this is a busy guy, you know?
I guess you had a whole lot of extra time back then, huh?
I think he did. And then I'm going to make a little note about all these historic buildings I've showed you today. Every single one of these historic sites and buildings are on the historic sites of America. So if you want to look them up, get more information on them, that is the way you can do it. But anyway, we finally found all the buildings we really wanted to. Now, if we can find the grist mill, it'll be golden. But until then, see you guys later.
Gotta see this one, folks. We are walking in an area called the Punch Bowl. And as you can see, it's a big open crevice of sandstone where the water's coming down. And the water looks pretty damn clear. I don't know if I want to drink it, but...
I don't know if I drink it, but it's pretty damn clear water.
And here's a real waterfall.
Creme de la creme. Oh, we're freaking waterfalls.
I don't know, Mike, should we do some more interlude music for them?
Nah, we don't want to drive our viewers nuts.
Okay.
I think we've already serenaded them enough today.
Okay, let's just let it run for a few seconds for you guys. Just enjoy. Jeez Louise, we just keep running into the great stuff, Mike, don't we?
I tell you.
This is what they call Rocky Hollow, and it's hollow with lots of water running through it. we're trying to get back to the nature center. So, wow. And there's our stairs. Hopefully that carries us all the way across. This is some crazy stuff, people. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hello, everyone. So, final day. We made it through all the trails we've done, and let me tell you, there was a lot of trails here, guys. A lot of water features, a lot of limestone. Not limestone, sandstone, my bad. I mean, it's just so much stuff we saw here. And it's just amazing because, a couple things, we wanted to go see the grist mill. We couldn't because we just couldn't find it. Then it turned out it rained some more today, so that kind of flooded it out even further. So we were basically walking through through waterfalls, basically, to get back to the trail. We did find, Lusk's homestead, which was kind of nice, and found out he actually had eight kids, man. I guess back then they had plenty of time on their hands. But the funny thing is, he was a busy guy. He had a Lusk villager kind of thing where he was running a grist mill that he built. He had people running flatboats. They were doing all kinds of farming, and it was just amazing what this guy did. And he got this land because he was in the Battle of 1812 against the Indians. So again, we find a lot of interesting things and a lot of connections to the Indians in Indiana. I guess maybe that's Indians, Indiana. There you go. It turns out that, we got to chant that that Theodore Roosevelt really had a lot to do with what's going on here, with the tension bridge. The suspension bridge that we saw. He had 64,000 people putting these parks together. That was just amazing, and you can see the work that they've done. And then and we didn't get a chance to get good pictures of the sandstone steps that they had carved in for the trail, but it was so creative. Some of the trails. When we're going right down into the water, it was absolutely amazing because your foot literally fit in these little crevices that they made for us to climb. It was fantastic. We also were able to get a lot more trail footage for you this time, which is something we don't usually do because there usually isn't interesting trails like there was in this park. And we learned that this was the second park, the first park, only the second park that was actually ever an official park. And it all started with not only Lusk and his passion to get this place up here, and apparently only a third of his land out of all of this property is that he kept, and the rest he gave to the Park Service. So that was really cool as well. There's just so much. I don't know. It's really hard to summarize everything that we saw. We saw more of the Conservation Corps. We got more connections to the Indian War. We got more connections to Theodore Roosevelt and the way he was really doing a lot to get people working, and the fact that Lusk, he got this property from being a good soldier in the Indian War because they didn't have money back then, so they gave you property. That's not a bad deal right there. I'd like to get some property, And a lot of the water actually looked so clear. I almost looked like you could just scoop down and drink it. And you know what? Maybe with a little filtering, you probably could. So, honestly, I think that this would be one of our best that we've done so far. You saw we did a little cooking again. We'd like to do more cooking. But again, I need you guys to give us some input. So that's why I always say, comment, like, and subscribe. Drop us a line and say, hey, do more cooking, or, we may even have to come back because we didn't get a chance to do grist mill. We didn't get a chance to do the ladder trail, which looks pretty interesting. But by the time we got everything else done and how long it took to find Lusk's homestead, we were wiped out. I think if we would have went back, that would probably just pass out in the middle of the forest somewhere and just slept for a couple days. There's a lot to say, but I really don't know what to say because there's so much to say. So all I'm going to say is I appreciate you guys coming along with these 6 episodes that we've done. Me and Mike put a lot of effort and a lot of time into this. We did set up the Patreon account, so if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that, I have a link that's going to be in the description, so you can check it out and see what we offer our patrons. And also, I really hope that you folks start commenting and subscribe. Because if you comment, subscribe, and you like, that's going to tell YouTube that our content is worth something. And they're going to tell other people about it. And what I'm trying to go right now, I have 9 subscribers. It's not a lot, but I need 91 more subscribers, guys. I'm trying to get our own Let's Go Outdoors America YouTube channel. And I can do that if you guys can get me those 100 subscribers. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you for spending your time with us. And I will see you on the next trail. Actually, next trail or next campground, in this case, of America. Have a great evening, guys.